Hello and welcome to the Swim Brief, the brand spanking new head coach of Auburn Swimming and Diving, Ryan Wochomurka. Ryan, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing great. I'm excited that I get to talk to you. I'm excited to see one of my friends get an awesome job. Like, congratulations, first of all.
Appreciate it. Excited for it, and just excited what's coming.
Yeah, maybe you don't want to say whether it was, but is this a dream job for you? Like, is this something like, you thought like if there ever was a really good opportunity for me to come back to my alma mater, this is really something I'd like to do? What was your mindset thinking about this?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, it's a dream. And that's what's exciting about it. It's a place that was incredibly special to me. On a personal level as a student athlete, and I think really helped to define who I am and the coach that I strive to become. And that experience during my time here as a student athlete, it has really shaped me. So an opportunity to come back to a place that was that special and have the opportunity to serve and provide hopefully that same experience for the current student athletes here and for the kids that will be coming hopefully for many, many years to come it is a dream come true.
Yeah. I mean, so talk to me a little bit about your own experience swimming there, because I think that's really important to this. Of course, you were an athlete during some of the best times at Auburn University, a real peak sort of era of the program. What was so special about those teams that you were on? And, give me like a couple things that were special about the team as they competed in swimming, and then a couple things that you thought were special out of the pool about that squad.
Well, I think I was very blessed and lucky to have the opportunity to be here during that time. And I came in here in the fall as an athlete in the fall of 2001, and my senior year was 2005, and we had the opportunity in 03, 04, 05 to win the NCAA championships. And, it was just a place that drew people that were drawn to high performance swimming, but excellence, and trying to chase greatness at the time. And that was really exciting. I was very lucky to come there at a time, that they had won on the men's side. They had won in 97 and then in 99. And a lot of those people that were on the team were still there at the time, either training professionally or graduate assistants. And so, the knowledge base that was there, was exciting, and the culture became self-sufficient, but self-sustaining in a way that we had a lot of people that were there to teach and help you understand as seniors and juniors to help the freshmen understand and learn what it was to be a part of the culture at that time and how to chase that greatness. So, I was just very lucky to be here during that time, and we had a lot of fun, and we're able to do a lot of great things in the pool. But the things that really stuck out to me and the things that I remember the most during my experience, like a fishing trip, you remember, 20 years down the road, that the things that make you smile, you remember a little bit better than getting up early in the morning or throwing up on the steps in the basketball arena, or, those types of things. But it's the people, it's the experiences you had. And it's the relationships you built, that those same relationships that I have to this day, whether it was with, our coaching staffs at the time or more importantly with our teammates.
And, as you look back at that time, have you had the chance since you took the job to talk to David Marsh, your old college coach, about what's going on, with you taking over the program? Has he given you any advice?
I'm sure, I've spoken with him a couple times, not necessarily in length or in depth. I think, there are a lot of things happening right now. So, but I think that the thing that I've always appreciated about Coach Marsh was, and just not now, even in the last 2-3 weeks, but his willingness to always pick up the phone and listen and answer, from when I left, here and finished my time as a student athlete up until now. And so, and the other thing I appreciate him and the coaching staff that was here at the time. I mean, incredible mentors. I mean, and a guy like Ralph Crocker and certainly Dave Durden has been an earpiece for me since the day I graduated, and helped me certainly as a coach, but really as a man. And then somebody like Kim Bracken that I'm not sure she'll ever understand the impact that she really had on me, because I'm sure she thought it flew over my head at 21 years old. But I'm very thankful and blessed to have the opportunity to continue to have those people in my life that I can turn to, and pick their brains. So, I think I'm excited with having that moving forward to help, from a knowledge standpoint.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that. You talk about being a 21-year-old on the team, and I think we all look back. Like I look back at the 21-year-old version of myself and imagine like what an idiot I was at that age. But like, what kind of stuff do you look back upon with different eyes as an adult now, right? A fully formed adult. You're married, you got kids, you've been working as a coach for quite some time. You're going to be the head coach of this program. What kind of stuff do you think was really special that maybe you didn't understand at the time, but now as a coach, you have a greater appreciation for them?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've told just about somebody on every single team that I've worked with over the past 16 years now that I'd give my right arm to go back and have a chance to do it again. It just it's just an incredible time of life. In many ways, where you have all the privileges of being an adult, while at the same time very few of the actual responsibilities for some of them, with the exception of being able to perform at a high level in the classroom, and perform at a high level socially, and perform at a high level in the pool as well too. So I had this conversation with somebody that I had coached at Houston, who is now out, been out in the working world for a year, and just the understanding and appreciation of like, yeah, remember when your biggest concern was, swimming in school, and,
Right.
and that was, it just gives you perspective and understanding, and that while, this is extremely important to us and these kids, that they pour their mind, body, and soul into this on a daily basis. At the end of the day, this is it's a game.
Yeah.
And it's yes, there's winners and losers, or times achieved and success gained, and that's always the cruel part about our sport, because a hundredth of a second has the ability to define success and failure, and that's such a hard, how do you comprehend that? And I think that's something that you're able to take forward beyond and into your post swimming experience. That do we need to define success and failure on such a fine line like that?
Yeah. One of the things so I had the experience of getting out to come see how things were at Houston a couple times. And one of the things I always came away with really impressed, like you talk about on this podcast, that institutional knowledge that you saw at Auburn, that there was knowledge being passed down, not just from coaches to swimmers, but athlete to swimmers, post grads to athletes currently on the team. And I wonder, I know you're going to spend a lot of time looking back at Houston. That's somebody else's job, right?
Sure.
But if you were to get a phone call from whoever gets that job next and they go, hey, Ryan, like, what do I need to know about this place? What do I need to know about the team and the swimmers here? What would you tell them? What would you want them to keep moving with that program?
Honestly, Chris, I don't know. I wouldn't know what to say with that. I mean, because it's a place that was incredibly special to me, and a place that I invested heavily in, and student athletes that were very special to me. But the thing that we've always talked about with our kids, anywhere I've been, is to be where your feet are. And
yeah.
that I would tell whoever that person is that you need to be you, because the only thing I know about coaching, I'll say this generation, makes me sound old, but you know the thing that I've come to understand in working with young adults these days is authenticity is extremely important to them, and it is to me, and that they need to be whoever they're going to be, and coach that team with those kids, with those athletes in the way that they see fit. So, it, that's all I would share is, I had a lot of conversations with our team here at Auburn now, and it's, I'm a pretty forward looking guy. And so when you're driving in the car, the windshield's a lot bigger than the rear view. And you start get focused on what's in the rear view mirror, and you end up in the ditch real quick. So, we're just looking out the windshield right now.
Yeah. Okay. So on to that topic, I got some questions, and I know like you're in the process of meeting with athletes. So this is probably front of mind with you right now. Let's say I'm an athlete that really struggled last year. I'm on Auburn, and like I say, okay, new coach, new coaching staff. I want to get off to a fresh start. I want to come in and talk to coach. What do you say to that person, to somebody who's like, I'm having a really tough time swimming in the last year. And I want your advice as the new chief here about how I should proceed. What do you say to him?
The conversations that I'm having right now are just trying to, in the same way, like I said, where I'm forward looking and not going to look backwards. And I'm happy if you want to provide context and your experience to help me understand where you are, because that's the question I'm asking these student athletes right now is, help me understand where you are. And that's a loaded question that gets some long answers. But where are you? Yeah, certainly from a swimming standpoint, I want to know that. But where are you in swimming right now? Where are you academically? Where are you spiritually? Where are you socially? Where do you see? How are you defining your role within our program? So where are you right now? Like, what's the current state of affairs with you? And where do you want to go, like this year? So where do you envision yourself, in March of 2022, or May on May 3rd, 4th in 2022? Where do you see yourself? Where do you see yourself? Your sophomore, junior, senior, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years from now, and so that's part of the learning process of where they are right now. And that's where, okay, I can understand, okay, this is where I need to meet you right now. So let me meet you right where you are right now. Let our staff, meet you where you are right now. And as we talk about where it is that you really want to go with this, how can we help you and walk with you in moving to that place where you want to be? So part of the conversation I've had with them is like, but we can get into the weeds and making plans and setting goals and talking about things that we have to do to help move you to where it is that you want to be. But the one thing that I've learned to be true, whether it was in my own athletic journey or more importantly in my life journey, has been it never quite works out the way you set out to when you make those plans. And so there has to be a high degree of flexibility. And I think if anything, this pandemic has taught us this year, it's we have to learn how to pivot and grow and move in different directions. And ultimately that place that we talked about, where it is that you want to go, I've found that even though the journey becomes much different than how we set out on it, usually ends up better once you get there than what you thought it was going to be.
Yeah. From the outside looking in, I think that you may have had a different experience doing it, right? I always think about this when I ask a question like this, but when you transitioned to University of Houston, I thought you were very successful even from your first year there. What do you think went well, and what kinds of things do you think are reasonable, to have a smooth and good transition of a coaching staff?
Sure. Again, understanding where you are when you walk in the door. And I think, there's a place that I used to go eat lunch with Arthur in Louisville when I was coaching there, and there's a sign on the wall that said, "Confidence is what you have before you understand the situation." So that always resonated pretty
That's
closely
a
with me.
story of my life. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but it goes back to meeting people where they are and understanding where they are, both individually and then collectively a group. I think the thing that was an unknown for me going into University of Houston is what was there, what was existing, what we would find. And there had been, some coaching turnover there but before I'd arrived. And so what we had found was a pretty core group and solid group of kids that I don't say had endured, but had been had a lot of adversity thrown at them, and had to respond and react, and then the ones that remained were tough, and through that experience, through that adversity, and had just grown. Had a great connection with one another and had grown and were excited for just a different opportunity and fresh opportunity. And I think in many ways, in talking with kids here now, at Auburn, I feel like, I don't know if the circumstances the same at all, but I know that just the quality of people that we have here on this program as it exists right now is just phenomenal, and so an opportunity to just have a different path that maybe they weren't expecting, and that's a lot of the conversations we've had. This is different than maybe your expectation was a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, kind of what your journey was going to be here. But even though it's different, we have an opportunity to get better. So through that, and so that we have just, I've been meeting with folks pretty much nonstop here over the last couple of days, and we have some great people. We have really quality student athletes here, and they're really good swimmers. There's a high level of talent here, but they're great people. They're great people, and that's the. I've been doing this long enough now that's what you need to have. You need to have great people, and it starts with that first and foremost. So,
yeah, and I certainly, I mean, in my opinion, you definitely had that at University of Houston. Like, I just grew to admire so many of the athletes you had there because they were great people. So finally, I just want to turn and ask you a little bit about a coaching staff. Now, listeners of this podcast, I know, are curious whether or not I'm in consideration. Now, I have not gotten anything from you directly, and I don't want to put you on the spot here on the podcast, but if you could just answer sort of more generally, what are you looking at? What are you considering in terms of constructing a coaching staff?
Yeah, and a lot of those things will begin to take shape in a more public way. Probably end of this week and then end of next week as well too. But again, to me, it's the same as when we're looking and identifying student athletes and how we're going to recruit as well too. Is I'm pretty. The only way I know how to do this is relationship based and partnership based with our student athletes, and that's what I'm looking for. There's a lot of tags out there or lines, we're like, oh, this person's a great distance coach, or this person's a great sprint coach, or this person's done really well with this individual athlete, or this person has done this, and those are all great. I appreciate those things, but at the end of the day, this is a people game. We only succeed with having great relationships with our student athletes, doing the very best that we can to provide them and serve them with the best student athlete experience. And share with them the Auburn way and what it means to be an Auburn man or woman, and allow our culture and our upperclassmen to share that with anybody that comes into our program. So for me, the staffing is the same. I'm looking for people that understand, certainly are knowledgeable about our sport. I mean, that great experience and knowledgeable and have worked with very good athletes, but anybody that's worked with somebody that's done some incredible things within our sport, got there for a reason, and that's because they've been able to connect with that person on an individual level, build a relationship with that person, and help them, meeting that, and the same we were talking about before, meeting them where they are, and taking them to really where they want to be. That's the only way I know how to do this. And that's what I'm looking for is people that certainly for me, it's important to people that I have a high level of faith and trust and knowledge in, and feel good about. But I want that faith and trust and knowledge and feel good to feel good about their ability to develop fantastic relationships with our student athletes.
Yeah. So maybe more so than, like a distance or a sprint coach or whatever, like you're looking for a group of people that can work well together and work well with you and work well with the athletes that you have on the team. And you'll worry about who has a specific responsibility a little bit later.
Look, if you can coach, I really believe this. I don't think that there's a head coach out there in Division I right now that can't coach all groups. Like, it just, that perception or knowledge, like, or that tag to me is just weird. I mean, and maybe that's because I'm coming from a single gender program most recently, where you wear all hats. Like, I mean, no one defines, Dave Durden as any one of those tags. No one defines Terry McKeever as any one of those tags. No one defines Eddie Reese is one of those, or boxed them into one. And I'm naming them not only because they're great coaches, but because they're single gender programs, or Greg Meehan, and so that to me, I guess that single gender mentality is something I want to carry to our program, in the respect that just as I don't want to box in our student athletes, I certainly don't want to box in anybody on our staff. I want to empower them to have the ability to, anybody that we hire could coach any one of our groups. So obviously I think they're going to have tendencies, and we're going to spend a lot of time in some areas and in places that they've excelled, but I want them to develop as great coaches. So maybe, and that may be different than some other people run it. That's fine. So.
And are you still hiring? Should inquiring people still hammer away at your phone number if they've got it?
I've gotten one or two texts about it, so it's.
But you're going to announce some. You've got some stuff that's in process. It's going to be announced reasonably soon.
Sure.
Some of the names that will fill out that coaching staff. Okay. Finally, I know you got to go to another appointment, so I don't want to keep you too long.
Yeah.
But I have a really important question. It's more of a personal thing here. I'm looking on SwimSwam. I'm looking at these articles and the picture that they've got on you here. Your arms look amazing. What is the secret workout that you've been doing since I saw you last?
It's incredible. It's, the resource level of the SEC is just amazing, that you can instantaneously transform just like that. Just, it's great. My wife was very appreciative that they took a headshot of the 30-year-old version of me and superimposed it upon somebody whose arms are very well defined.
I think it's just an advertisement for the strength and conditioning program there at Auburn. Historically, it's been very, very good, and obviously that they get results that are visible in a matter of days. It's incredible.
We have great graphics people, so I'm appreciative of them.
All right. Well, thanks so much for taking some time to talk to me. I know you're a busy man. You got a lot of things to do. But I really appreciate it. And I appreciate your openness and honesty. I just tried to turn those into one word, openy. I'm going to be a huge fan of everything that's happening at Auburn. I'm really excited to see what happens, and maybe send somebody, up for recruiting here at Jersey Wahoos.
Yeah.
When that's a thing that's possible again. Cheap flights.
No.
I've been on the Newark to Houston.
Right.
I'm sorry. Newark to Atlanta now. For Auburn stuff. It's cheap. So,
well, I know you know Atlanta well, so it's just a drive down 85. So
that's right.
We'll be all right. We'll throw a t-shirt or a few your way. So
I used to be at Hartsfield-Jackson with Auburn, Georgia, and the people from Georgia Tech all waiting.
Well, I'll tell you that one of my favorite texts I got over the last week was from our good friend, mutual friend, Marty Hamburger. So always appreciate him.
Yeah. Everybody look up my blogs on Marty Hamburger. I bring him up. No, I bring him up like once a day coaching, and people are like, is that a real person? Yes, it's a real person. And he's awesome.
Man, myth, a legend.
Ryan and I both had the pleasure of being involved with him. Thanks so much. I'll let you get on with your day, and good luck.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it, Chris.